Maryland changed course and fired head football coach DJ Durkin. This came less than 30 hours after a press conference when the University Board of Regents, after reportedly forcing the hand of President Wallace Lowe, reinstated the head coach. The outrage of the board's decision was widespread, leading to Wednesday night's firing. Wallace Lowe released a statement saying, in part, "This is not at all a reflection of my opinion on Coach Durkin as a person. However, a departure is in the best interest of the university, and this afternoon Coach Durkin was informed that the university will part ways. This is a difficult decision, but it is the right one for our entire university. I will devote the remaining months of my presidency to advancing the needed reforms in our athletic department that prioritize the safety and well-being of our student athletes." With that, we welcome you into the show. I'm Mike Hall, and we bring in our first guest now, Roman Stubbs, who covers this for the Washington Post. Roman, as someone who is there and knows this community, can you put into perspective for me what the reaction was like Tuesday night when it was first said that Durkin would be coming back?
Yeah, it was just utter disbelief. I think just so many people were just so stunned by, just the board's decision, and I think what happened in the ensuing hours just really underscored how much the board underestimated what the response was going to be. You had politicians putting out statements. You had hundreds of students, threatening to revolt and protest. You had stakeholders and boosters and media members decrying this decision and wondering where the transparency was, what were the nuts and bolts of this decision. And so it was a really remarkable and stunning decision that they made. And I think in the ensuing hours, that the people, made their voices heard. And the bottom line is that the public was going to decide whether DJ Durkin was going to be welcomed back in the wake of Jordan McNair's death, in the wake of allegations of abuse in his program. And I think what happened within 30 hours just kind of showed how tone deaf the board was on what the reaction was going to be. And the university obviously acted swiftly.
And once he was fired, how different was the local reaction last night and this morning?
Yeah, I think first of all, I think there was a sense of relief within the team. There was just so many uncertain moving parts to the decision. It was such a bizarre scene to see him back on campus on Tuesday night. You had security personnel blocking reporters from asking questions. You had, players walking out of practice. There's reports of a confrontation between players, one who was pro-Durkin, another who was anti-Durkin. You saw kind of just the fractures within the team when he did come back. And I think from everybody that I've talked to within the facility, there just was a sense of relief last night that there was some semblance of closure. I think, obviously politicians praised Wallace Lowe, the president, for making this decision. I think politicians came out and students came out and said that, this was the right decision. But I don't think at the end of the day there was any sense that this is over. So I think it was a good first step. This has been such a dysfunctional mess for Maryland that, that I think that he needed to make one step forward to gain some traction on making this right. And so I think that last night that represented that.
You said the phrase first step. Is there a belief that other steps still need to be made?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think there's any sense that this is over. There's a lot of people who have called for Wallace Lowe's job. There's a lot of people who have called for athletic director Damon Evans's job. Obviously those two are aligned. And at the end of the day, the Board of Regents only had the power to act on Wallace Lowe, the president. They didn't have the power to act on Damon Evans and DJ Durkin. So we're seeing now just how political this all was, just how many agendas were involved, and how complicated and nuanced this whole situation is. At the end of the day, I think there's politicians on both sides saying, look, Wallace Lowe should be commended for what he did last night, but there's other pockets of people who still want there to be a completely clean house. And so we're going to see, obviously, in the coming hours, the coming days, just how this unravels. And again, it's incredibly sad, and it's incredibly stunning just to see this is all happening, for sure.
Roman Stubbs from the Washington Post. Thank you for your time and your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.